2018 was one of the exciting times for me as a farmer. Why? Because the government of Ghana initiated two most important programs that I was so excited about. Number one was Rallying for Food and Job and Planting for Food and Job. I was so excited as a farmer, especially with the livestock part of it, because as you guys know, I love my goats, my sheep, and my poultry as well. So I was really looking forward to the success of this great initiative that the Ministry of Agriculture and the government of Ghana had initiated. But over the years, we've heard of so much stories, which I started even a poultry farm but had collapsed. Today, I am at the 2023 AgriFest Festival here in Accra, and I want to go to the table of the Rallying for Food and Job and learn more about this program. Did it succeed? Did it fail? Why, if it did? And if it succeeded, what is the impact? And how can you and I benefit from such program? So let's go to their desk and speak to one of their people and learn more about the Rallying for Food and Job and know all the benefits about livestock that they are bringing into this country. Can you please introduce yourself and tell our viewers who you are and what you do?
My name is Ebenezer Ajimanbia. I work with the Animal Production Directorate, one of the departments under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Personally, when you ask me about what we do, I say everything livestock except health. So all the issues on livestock, with the exception of health, which is solely under the VSD.
Wow. Okay, so this is very exciting because I am a passionate livestock farmer and I have so much questions for you. So let's get into it. I hope you're ready for me today.
Okay. Let's get to it.
All right, great. So you've told us your passion, what you do. Walk me through what farmers, livestock farmers, can come to you or depend on you for.
One thing that can be very frustrating is when you want to enter into a business and you don't have the idea as to whether to turn left or right. I'm talking technical.
Okay.
So basically, technical backstopping is what we do for our farmers. A lot of people still feel livestock is something that can be done at the backyard. But looking at where we are going, it is something that we need to do on a large scale. Hence, we need to get our technical issues on point. So with new farmers, even existing farmers, time to time, they come to us for that support so that they are on point as to their production.
Okay. What, in your own sense, do you think is one of the biggest hindrance to the success of livestock farming in our country at the moment?
That's a very huge question.
I know. So take your time and walk us through.
Interesting.
There are quite a number of things. And let me do this illustration. When you enter into any restaurant in Ghana, you always see the carbohydrate first before the protein.
Yeah.
But outside, you see the protein before you see any other thing added to it. Okay. So I see sort of behavioral. People are more interested in filling the belly than possibly what is inside the diet.
Yeah.
But when it comes to things that are visible, practically, I feel over the years investment into livestock has not been top-notch.
Yeah.
And these are some few things that off-head I can talk about that is hindering the process of livestock.
Which you tapped on one of the biggest one, investment into livestock farming. So I know the big organizations like UNICEF, GATE, they are mostly focusing on crop farming, maize, soya beans. Recently, GATE did something on livestock. But why is it so? Is it because maybe the sector of the government is not pushing hard, or is it because farmers are not interested? Why do you think that there is not a balance between crop farming and livestock farming?
Good. I mentioned our diets and the focus of our diets. So I think it has a point on it. Again, I feel personally, as a technical man, that there is more money into livestock. That is why outside you see big bands of livestock production. That is where the money is. I think that over the years, people that will want to support basically you will not want to support. Why? Because sort of when we are able to get there, we will sort of be competing. I am producing chicken and supplying to you. Why do you think I want to support you to produce chicken?
Okay, interesting. Okay, this is a question.
These are my
yeah,
personal
yeah. No. It is a very valid use because I think you're hitting on a point there, which is, even though it's a donation towards what we will need from you, so that we can be the off-takers, right? But what about ourselves? We don't have a competition with our government. So if the agric ministry, right, understands that there is value in livestock, why are we not supporting ourselves? Because, Ghana is spending over $4 million on poultry alone. We are producing about, 264,000 tons of poultry. No, consuming, but producing about only 60,000 tons. So these numbers are visible to the government. So if the foreign agencies, for their own selfish and benefits, are focusing on what they need, why are we not focusing on what we need?
I think the government is doing quite a lot.
Tell me some.
And I'm not saying so because I work for the government.
No. Let's be as
I know
honest as
through
possible.
several programs they've tried to support livestock farmers. I believe that we have to get to a point where people will see livestock as a business. And when it is seen that way, that is where we will start seeing the numbers in terms of production that we are looking at.
Okay. So tell me some of the initiatives that you think, or through maybe your work, you've seen government do to support livestock. What even currently exists in the past? Because I think a lot of livestock farmers out there are asking the same question. What initiatives exist and how can I benefit from it?
Great.
So please educate us.
Great. Over the years, quite a number, like I said. I can mention offhand LDP, that was a livestock development project, Rearing for Food and Jobs.
Okay.
We have quite a number. But the support strategy was to look at smallholder farmers and then boost their production and help them to increase their food security and the nutrition security. It has done a bit, but I think now the focus is changing to looking at people who can pick it as a business. Right now, through the PFJ2, we are supporting farmers who are into broiler production. And we are not giving it to smallholders where we'll give you 100 pieces or, but we are giving it to people we call anchor farmers. These anchor farmers have other sub-farmers under them. So they pick up the facility, they supply to these guys. And the anchor farmer's responsibility is to ensure that these guys do the production and then they push it into the market. I believe we have a long way to go, but it's always good to start. And I give myself 10 years from now. If we continue with what we've started, we will get giants in the livestock industry.
Let's talk about Rearing for Food and Jobs. It started in 2017 or 18, right? In your point of view, has it been successful or is it still work in progress? Which state are we in at the moment?
I think it's been successful. Why?
Okay.
It's always
Difficult starting when there is no interest. But once you're able to generate the interest, then you are sure of pushing it somewhere. I believe Rearing for Food and Jobs came to quicken people's understanding about the fact that livestock is a business, not just a backyard thing. I always use the COVID as an example. It taught us a great lesson that relying on imports is not sustainable enough. Because it can happen that where you are expecting your chicken from, because there is no movement in plane or train or whatever means of transport, you are not getting it. So I believe with the Rearing for Food and Jobs, it's sort of quicken people's understanding that livestock is something that can be picked as a business. And right now, all the guys that are in the system trying to produce broilers on a larger scale, trying to produce a lot of things, livestock on a larger scale, I believe they are all hinging from the successes from Rearing for Food and Jobs.
So that's how you measure. Tell me again, what was the concept for Railing for Food and Job to the public that wants to know? Yeah.
Railing for Food and Jobs focused on education and also, if possible, support, like package for people to produce. The education part hinged on trying to let people know that there is money in livestock. And that is something that is in progress, because you can never sit down and say education has been full. Everybody get it now, but it's a work in progress. With the support, we gave quite a number of stuff in terms of breeding stock to farmers, in terms of input. Ghana here, one major thing that can frustrate a will-be farmer is where he can get his breeding stock from. I think if you want to go into sheep production and you go into, let's say, Turaku or Medina for your breeding stock, you've missed the point. Why? Because if I'm a farmer, it's my own producing animals I'm coming to sell. But with Railing for Food and Jobs, we're able to support farmers with breeding stock, and also the ministry farms were supported to do more in terms of giving farmers the input that they need.
So is this still something that is ongoing? And a livestock farmer, if I want to start sheep now or goats now or cattle, is this something that I can still tap into it, or is it done?
I think there is still something for people who are interested, because the strategy was to do what we call credit in kind. For instance, we've given you a package of, let's say, 50 sheep to start up with. We don't expect you to pay back in cash, but we expect you to pay back in kind. And that kind, nobody's going to take it and eat it. We will look for other people to transfer that to. So these are things that are happening at the district level. So anybody who is interested, I always want to drum home that they can visit MOFA district offices and then register with them. Once there's an availability, it is picked from one farmer who benefited from the initial stage, and then it's transferred to the new farmer.
And was this cut across the entire country, or was this a selected region or zones that benefited it?
I would say Railing for Food was for the entire country. But in terms of species, we look at where we have the economic advantage and look at. For instance, if it is broiler that you want to do, you surely will want to focus on Greater Accra, Ashanti region, Bunu. Why? Because that is where it is a hub. And in terms of market, that is where it's quite easier to market. When it is small ruminant, the sheep and goat, we look at the upper part of Ghana, okay? And when it comes to pig too, we look at the southern too. Why? Because that is where we have the people who already have the structures to make it work.
Okay. All right, that's great. I would like to take your expert view on this. So when it comes to the small ruminants, a lot of our farmers are out there grazing, right? So random grazing, the goats are domesticated. Why is it taking us so long to be able to move from that into intensive system? Because as a livestock farmer, there is no way I can scale if I'm doing random grazing.
Correct. I started from the point where people see livestock as a backyard thing. And gradually we think we are drumming home for people to know that it's something that is a business.
Okay.
Why am I saying so? If you are a farmer and you think it is not important for you to have a grazing field or a stockpile feed for your stock, then I don't know the sort of farmer that you are. So in our trainings, we sort of give farmer as to the grasses he can grow and even how he can process them. The problem really that we do have is that during the wet season, there's sort of a glut, abundance for the livestock to eat. But during the dry season, it's zero. So through our training, we teach farmers how they can stockpile feed so that they can utilize it. But it is something that will not take us a day to get there. Farmers need to practice it, see the results, and then be eager to invest. Like the poultry, now we don't see poultry farmers leaving their birds walking around. Why? Because they've seen that it's important keeping them in the barn. The same thing that we are trying to do with the livestock, that is the small ruminant, the large ruminant guys, and I believe we will get there.
So, as a message to the public, what is the government's plan towards livestock farmers in the next, I don't know whether it's a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, but if I'm a livestock farmer, what assurance can I get to say that the government has a plan for us? So let me go into this and then hoping for the better results.
Great question. Farmers should be glad and happy. Why? Because government sees livestock as a new goal. I'm saying that. Why? Because we are, if you've heard on the airwaves, trying to put import restrictions on frozen meat. That is a good step to go. If I'm a businessman, I don't worry about producing, but I worry about when I produce where my stuff is going so that I get my money back. And I believe if we are able to implement fully this import restriction on frozen meat, then we can not just encourage the small guys, but also people with capital to invest, because they know that once they produce, they do their things well, there is a market for them. Let me just chip in this. It's been there for long, but it looks like people are not aware. Government always give waiver on feed ingredients, livestock input, that is the machinery. If you want to do processing, those equipment, government give waiver on it. So when you're importing some of these things to come and help the sector, you don't have to pay duty on it. These are some of the things that are around, but it looks like people don't take advantage of.
How does one assess such things? Do they go through the ministry before going to the port, or how does it work?
The thing is simple. You want to import X amount of, say, soybean meal into the country. Don't worry yourself. You've made contact with your supplier. Just bring the documents of supply to the Animal Production Directorate. We will look at the document and then assist you as to the few things you need to do. And once you satisfy the criteria, we give a waiver letter on it so that you take it to the port. And we only charge 6 cedis per ton for processing.
Really?
And that is like a giveaway.
Yeah, I see. Okay, I hope you guys are learning something from this interview. Thank you very much, Mr. Dia. What will be your final words to livestock farmers that are watching us, or potential livestock farmers that are hoping to one day start?
I want to tell them that our population is growing. We will need to feed more people. And the more sustainable way of feeding more people is we producing it ourselves. Government is interested in ensuring that when you produce, there is market for it. And let's all support government to ensure that this import restriction on frozen meat is in place so that they can also take advantage of. They should not be wary. It is a work in progress, but I strongly believe that with all these steps put in place, very, very soon, Ghana will be self-sufficient in meat production.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the day where Ghana is self-sufficient with our meat production, and I hope we will be part of it as well.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
for
too,
having
sir.
the time
Thank
for
you.
us.